welcome to another edition of Gold Cup Today. I'm Samantha Yarock here with Andrew Wiebe. And Andrew, we have made it. Semifinals. It is down to 2 games to decide who will be those final 2 teams moving on to Chicago to play in that Gold Cup final on Sunday. Well, Andrew, the first game tonight, U.S. versus Honduras. U.S. has been on a 9-game winning streak, doing amazing in this tournament. But yesterday we heard from head coach Jürgen Klinsmann, who said Honduras, they absolutely have a chance.
Does Honduras have a chance? Absolutely. We start this game 0-0, so it's 50-50. So we know it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a game where we have to be patient, where we have to keep a high rhythm, we have to keep the tempo going, we have to find ways, hopefully, to score the goal first and not give a goal away first. So we are ready for that. But every game in a knockout stage, there is no favorite team.
All right, well, Andrew, it has been Gold Cup or bust for this team in this tournament. What do they need to do to move on to the finals?
Well, I think there's some decisions to be made, especially up top. You look at what Chris Wondolowski has done in this tournament. It's been nothing short of incredible, but he has 2 straight games without a goal, and we saw the impact Eddie Johnson can have on this team. I think one of the starting points here is Johnson probably starts. I think he's a little bit more dynamic than Wondo, provides that depth in behind. I think the key here is an early goal. You look at what teams have done against the U.S., they have bunkered, and I don't expect Honduras to venture too far away from that strategy. Yes, they'll throw some numbers forward when the right time presents itself, but the U.S. needs to get that first goal to open the game up. If they can do that, they may have Honduras on the rope.
All right, well, moving on from the offense to the defense, the U.S. team's defense has also been very strong, allowing only 3 goals throughout this tournament. Andrew, Nick Raimondo yesterday saying that the defense has made his job easy.
Yeah, I think that's the most difficult part of goalkeeping is when your team does dominate most of the game. You have to be sharp and ready for any moment. So this is a time, I think, we might have some challenges in the back. I think the defenders in front of us have done well, and it's made my job easy.
One of the big storylines in this U.S. defense is the likely insertion of Omar Gonzalez into that back line. Let's hear from Cory Gibbs on what the U.S. defense needs to do to shut down that Honduras counterattack.
The U.S. is a team that likes to get forward, and this may leave them very vulnerable to a Honduran style of play. Newly called up Omar Gonzalez will more than likely start in his hometown in Dallas, and it's going to be up to him to lead the defense to keep a very disciplined side against a Honduran team that's very patient. Back to you guys.
Well, thanks, Cory. Now I'm joined by our very own Diego Pinzon, our football MLS correspondent, to help break down the second semifinal match of the night, Mexico versus Panama. So Diego, in your opinion, what does Panama need to do to spoil Mexico's hopes of a trip to the finals in Chicago?
Well, Sam, they need to make Mexico desperate. If they are able to frustrate Mexico, they can hold the ball and then counterattack with that duo up front, Gabriel Torres, who is the score leader of the Gold Cup, alongside Chris Wondolowski with 5 goals each, and of course, Blas Perez, who will be this time around for the semifinal. He wasn't in Pasadena for the first match that Panama beat Mexico, but this duo proved to be very efficient against Cuba, where they beat them 6-1 in the quarterfinals. We'll see what happens this time around. Deli Valdez, the coach of Panama, said he was very worried about abnormal circumstances that could happen along the game. A red card, a handball inside the area, or something that could lead Mexico to score first. And that's the key for the Mexican side. On the other hand, if Mexico score first, they'll be able to keep scoring goals and then be able to reach the final. But they not only need to score first, they need to score quick, because we saw that against Trinidad and Tobago. They beat them 1-0, but it only happened in the last minutes of the game. They created plenty of chances, but were able to finish.
All right, so prediction, do you have a favorite?
I would say Mexico and the U.S. have the table set to be in the final again, but you never know. Panama is a very tough side, and they have proven it during this World Cup. So I would say Mexico goes to the final, but it'll be very difficult for them.
All right, well, it's anyone's game, as we know, and we will be back tomorrow with the results from tonight, reaction, highlights, everything. Find out finally who is going to this Gold Cup final. Thanks for watching.